4 years old and was diagnosed with type 2 DM, no? Tapos may peripheral neuropathy na din siya. While the sister is 50 years old and has hypertension and a history of gestational diabetes, no? Kasi mamaya, mapapansin natin ang isang approach for patients with dyslipidemia is to know, yun nga, yung finalista ni Doc siya, yung risk factors, no? So meron tayong score for and this takes into account all the risk factors and the laboratory of the patient. Okay? Tapos, yeah, the patient is married with no children. He doesn't smoke or consume much alcohol, and he gets irregular exercise. So, dun sa ating report na ipapasa kay Doc siya, pwedeng pertinent positive tsaka pertinent negative ang ilagay niya. Okay? So, for example, yun nga, di ba may diet history din, no? So, ilalagay nyo sa risk factors yung diet niya. Pwede nyo rin ilagay na no exercise, no? Pertinent negative yun. Okay? So, ito, BMI of 29, the patient is overweight, whereas the waist circumference is 40 inches, no? His cardiac exam and peripheral pulses are both normal. So, ito na yung laboratories natin, no? So, FDS, CREA, so yan. Tapos, concentrate tayo sa lipid panel. Okay, so for the outline of this short lecture, so brief introduction, bakit kailangan mag-prevent and screen for dyslipidemia, how we diagnose or approach the diagnosis of dyslipidemia, definition, so paano masasabi na dyslipidemia na yung patient, the treatment, and sa patient, what we can tell to our patients. Okay? So, dyslipidemia. So, ang important to look at dyslipidemia, it is a major risk factor for cardiovascular disease, cardiovascular death, and all causes of mortality. Okay? So, sinasabi lang dito what we know about dyslipidemia. So, alam na rin natin ito from previous lectures, no, na increasing levels of LDL, decreasing levels of HDL, increases the risk for coronary artery disease events. Ano ba yung mga CAD events natin? Ayan, si myocardial infarction, heart attack, yan si stroke, yan yung peripheral arterial occlusive diseases. So yan yung mga coronary artery disease events natin. Okay? CVD in general, cardiovascular disease. Okay, so prevention and sensible management of dyslipidemia can markedly alter the cardiovascular morbidity and mortality. So, ito na yung magiging answer nyo sa treatment natin. No? So, for example, natin na yung classmate natin, dyslipidemia based on the labs, no? So, ano yung before pa kasi mag-dyslipidemia, meron na tayong ibang lifestyle changes na pwede gawin. Kung dyslipidemic naman, pwede tayong magsabi ng lifestyle changes para ma-prevent yung further increase in your cholesterol, no? So, clinicians, what preventive lifestyle measures should clinicians recommend to reduce the risk for dyslipidemia? First is that we attain and maintain your normal body weight based on your BMI. Tapos, ito yung pwede nyo, sa diet, no? Follow a diet containing less than 25 to 35% calories from fat, less than 7% of calories from saturated fat, and fewer than 200 milligrams of cholesterol per day, no? Increase natin ang fibers, plant-based diet, no? And we should exercise aerobically at least 30 minutes on most and preferably all days of the week. So at least 5 days, no, of the 7 days, okay? Avoid all forms of tobacco and consume no more than 1 to 2 alcoholic beverages per week. So, pwede nyo nang itanong dun sa classmate nyo, no? Kung may tobacco use ba, pertinent positive or negative yan. Kung may alcoholic beverage, no? Ano ba yung risk niya for the dyslipidemia. Okay? Because all these are lifestyle changes that can affect your cholesterol, okay? Including your triglycerides. Okay? Ito, who should be screened for dyslipidemia? Kasi we want screening and prevention, no? So tayo, ito, sa number 2 tayo. No? Men, age 20 to 35, pasok ba? And women, age 20 to 45, who have other risk factors for CVD, whose family history suggests familial lipid disorder, or who have evidence of hyperlipidemia on physical exam. Okay? So, ito sa mga patients natin, yung routine na nagpapacheck, pwede actually tayo mag-screen for dyslipidemia pag ito yung mga, ano nila, yung mga, tawag dito, characteristics nila. Okay? Ayan. Supports routine dyslipidemia screening for men older than 35. So, these are recommendations. So, very clinical na siya. But this, I hope this would help in guiding you, in answering your laboratory. Okay? The rationale is that screening promotes healthy behaviors and increases public awareness. No? And another one which should be screened are adults older than 65 years. No? So, dun sa mga elderly patients natin, automatic na na-base na yung laboratory nila, yung lipid profile. Okay, so how should we assess? So, ito na. You have your total cholesterol, your triglycerides, your HDL, and your LDL. Okay? So, bottom line, so, pag prevention and screening, no? So, at this point, pwede kayo sa prevention and screening, no? Pag hindi pa diagnose ng dyslipidemia. So, ito na yung management na hinahanap mo, Doc. So, kung hindi healthy ang diet, so, healthy diet, kung walang regular exercise. So, meron iba't ibang recommendations for exercise, no? Depende sa inyong reference, no? Avoidance of tobacco can help patients avoid dyslipidemia. Okay? Screening, ayan, nabanggit na natin, no? So, begin at age 20, no? As a way to increase awareness of dyslipidemia. Okay? So, sa diagnosis, ito yung sinabi ko na when diagnosing dyslipidemia, clinicians should estimate a patient's cardiovascular risk. Okay? So, pwede nyo nang anahin yung sa classmate nyo. Ano ba yung risk niya for dyslipidemia? Although by laboratory, meron ano. So, we use the Framingham point score, no? So, risk factor, yung age, no? So, merong equivalent score yan. Tapos yung HDL, systolic BP, total cholesterol, and whether tobacco or non-tobacco using. And so 10-year risk score. Let's have an example, no? So, for example, sa patient natin, pwede yung gawin to, pwede rin hindi, no? So, for your patient, hindi ko naman nire-require. But I want you to remember na in evaluating your overall cardiovascular risk, no? Pwede mo siyang i-relate ngayon kung paano natin i-interpret ang ating lipid screening results. Okay? So, for example, sa patient natin, ilang taon siya? 58, no? So, 58. So, ayan. So, score niya agad is 8. No? Tapos, HDL cholesterol, no? So, yan. So, i-add up natin yan, no? In such a way na at a given Framingham score, ayan, no? Yung total points natin, meron tayong 10-year risk for cardiovascular health. Okay? So, each physician will have its own kasi based on recommendations natin. So, but I want you to remember na ini-interpret natin ang dyslipidemia based on risk for a cardiovascular event, such as your MI, your stroke, and your backbone, no? So, makikita nyo ang risk factors niya, age, HDL cholesterol, blood pressure, total cholesterol, and tobacco use. Okay, so these are the risk factors which you take into account in assessing your patient with dyslipidemia. Okay? So what laboratory test should clinicians obtain before starting therapy for? Ito, medyo hindi naman part ng management ng ilalagay nyo sa ano nyo, yung gamot. Okay, hindi naman natin i-expect. Okay? But ito, ang sinasabi lang dito sa next slides is ano ba yung mga genetic diseases which will predispose a patient for, syempre may mga genetic diseases din, no? For increased cholesterol, no? So, nakatable lang dito yung disease, yung characteristic, tsaka yung some examples, no? Example C, hypercholesterolemia, no? Heterozygous familial. Let's look at secondary, no? Sige, sorry. Pero anyways, ang bottom line dito sa table na to, kapag ka merong patient at nakita nyo naman dyslipidemia siya, kailangan kayo mag-consider ng genetics. Okay? So, kung na-acquire ba niya from family members yung increase in cholesterol niya. No? Ang example dito is, hanap tayo ng, naalala nyo si familial hyper